Introduction. The golden calf of the Internet. He is the Internet's golden boy. A man who has given away millions, built wells in Africa, and cured the blind. On paper, he is the closest thing to a modern-day saint we have. But behind the aggressively colorful thumbnails, the high-octane editing, and the manic, unblinking smiles, lies a meticulously engineered corporate machine that functions with the cold precision of a Swiss watch. Today, we are peeling back the bright, saturated colors of the YouTube era. We are looking deep into the ND. As that silenced dissent, the brutal employee turnover that treats human beings like disposable batteries, and the terrifying psychological algorithms designed to hijack your dopamine before you even realize you've clicked. This isn't just an exposé about one man. This is a post-mortem of the attention economy. It is an analysis of how we, as a global audience, traded our focus for a spectacle of manufactured generosity. We've entered an era where charity is a transaction, and empathy has been weaponized for retention. Once you see the gears turning behind the curtain, you can never unsee them. Welcome to the dark reality of the world's biggest hero. Chapter 1. The Architecture of Compassionate Capitalism. To understand the darkness, you first have to understand the business model. It's a phenomenon I call philanthropic capitalism. In the traditional world, charity is an end in itself. In the YouTube world, charity is an investment with a guaranteed ROI. When you see a video titled, "I gave away $1 million," you aren't seeing a donation. You are seeing a production budget. If that $1 million giveaway generates 50 million views, plus sponsorship deals from tech giants and soft drink empires, that $1 million wasn't a gift. It was the cheapest marketing spend in history. But as the channel grew, so did the stakes. The hit of dopamine required by the audience became harder to achieve. In the early days, giving a pizza delivery driver a $1,000 tip was enough to go viral. By 2024, you had to build 100 houses or cure blindness in 1,000 people. The scale of the good deed had to expand exponentially just to maintain the same level of growth. This created a dangerous feedback loop. The empathy became weaponized. We began to see people in desperate situations, people who couldn't afford surgery, people who were homeless, people who were starving, turned into content cattle. They were brought onto massive, neon-lit sets and forced to compete in grueling physical and psychological challenges just to have a chance at paying their medical bills. Think about the ethics of that for a moment. We are watching a real-life version of Squid Game, but because the host is smiling and the music is upbeat, we call it wholesome. We've reached a point where a person's survival or quality of life depends on whether their struggle is clippable enough for a TikTok highlight. When morality is tied to a view count, the good deed ceases to be an act of kindness. It becomes a high-stakes transaction where the human being is just a prop in a digital circus. Chapter 2. The Sweatshop of the Attention Economy. You cannot upload highly produced, multi-million-dollar videos every single week without breaking something, or more accurately, breaking someone. Behind every 10-minute masterpiece of chaos is a team of hundreds of editors, producers, and researchers working in what many have described as a content sweatshop. Over the last few years, the cracks in the facade have started to show. Leaks from the inner sanctum describe a cult-like environment where the mission of making the best videos on Earth justifies any level of human cost. We're talking about 100-hour work weeks. We're talking about mental breakdowns in the editing suite. There are stories of editors sleeping under their desks for days at a time because a thumbnail didn't have the right click-through rate, and the entire video had to be recut hours before launch. In this world, you are only as good as your last 60 seconds of retention. If a video underperforms by even 5%, heads roll. The pressure isn't just high, it's unsustainable. And then there's the commercialization, the burgers, the chocolate bars, the lifestyle brands. These aren't just snacks. They are psychological hooks. These products were marketed directly to children, leveraging a powerful parasocial relationship. To a 10-year-old, buying a Beast Burger isn't just eating lunch, it's supporting their friend. But when the logistical reality of these ghost kitchens hit the fan, and fans started receiving raw, inedible meat, the response wasn't a humble apology. It was a corporate pivot. The machine doesn't have a heart. It has a legal department and a PR firm. They didn't fix the meat. They just buried the complaints under a fresh mountain of even louder, more expensive giveaways. It's a cycle of constant distraction. If the public is looking at a scandal, give them a shiny new car to look at instead. Chapter 3: Neurological Warfare. This is where the story shifts from a bad workplace to a global psychological experiment. If you watch a video from 2015 and compare it to now, the difference is haunting. The modern editing style is a masterpiece of neurological manipulation. The cuts happen every 1.5 to 2 seconds. The sound effects are constant. Pings, swooshes, explosions, laughter tracks. The creator is always yelling, always moving, always pointing. This isn't just fast-paced editing. It is specifically engineered in a lab-like setting to prevent the viewer's brain from ever having a moment of rest. It's called hyperstimulation. By hitting the brain with a constant stream of novel visual and auditory stimuli, the video bypasses your critical thinking and goes straight to your lizard brain. You aren't watching because you're interested. You're watching because your brain is physically unable to look away. The long-term effects of this are terrifying. We have conditioned an entire generation, millions of children, to this extreme level of pacing. We are fundamentally altering the attention spans of the youth. When you grow up on a diet of beast-style content, the real world starts to feel broken. School feels like a slow-motion nightmare. A normal conversation feels agonizingly dull. Reading a book becomes an impossible task. He didn't just win the YouTube game. He rewrote the rules of human perception. He created a digital drug, optimized it with A/B testing, and gave the first hit to our children for free. He has turned the human reward system into a programmable interface for profit. Chapter 4: The Prison of Perpetual Growth. Empires built on the ideology of infinite growth always face the same inevitable problem. Eventually, you run out of world to conquer. When you've already buried yourself alive for 50 hours, when you've survived on a desert island, when you've given away an entire private island, what is left? You are forced into a cycle of escalation or death. If you look closely at the most recent uploads, something has changed. The Golden Boy looks tired. The smile is wider than ever, but it doesn't reach the eyes. The reactions feel synthetic, rehearsed, almost hollow. You can see the invisible weight of the thousands of families whose livelihoods depend on him staying relevant. He is no longer the person steering the ship. He is just the figurehead bolted to the front, being shredded by the very winds of fame he worked so hard to conjure. He is trapped in a prison of his own making. To stop is to fail. To slow down is to be forgotten. The algorithm he mastered has now become his master. It's the classic tragedy of the sorcerer's apprentice. He summoned a power he can no longer control, and now the water is rising above his head. Every video has to be bigger, louder, and more expensive than the last, until the spectacle becomes so large that it collapses under its own gravity. The outrow. The mirror. We love heroes. We desperately want to believe that there is a savior out there, a billionaire who actually cares, a man using the system to fix the world. But in the ruthless economy of clicks, retention, and algorithmic dominance, pure altruism cannot survive. It is filtered out. Only the most efficient, most manipulative, and most aggressive content rises to the top. He isn't a villain in the traditional sense. He isn't trying to destroy the world. But he isn't a hero either. He is simply the ultimate product of a system that values attention over humanity. He is the mirror of our own desires. We wanted the spectacle. We wanted the dopamine. We wanted the easy answers to complex problems. And the scariest part of this entire story? It's not the NDAs, it's not the toxic workplace. It's not even the raw burgers. The scariest part is that even while hearing this, we are still waiting for the next upload. The monster isn't the man behind the camera. The monster is the insatiable hunger of the millions watching. And as long as we keep clicking, the machine will keep grinding people into content. The question isn't, who is he? The question is, who are we?